Hi, my name is Erika Lance. As a writer, I'm very fortunate to create a lot of worlds that my characters can play in. Today, I thought it would be a great idea to share one of those worlds with you. This story is from an anthology written by the Inkslingers Guild, for which I'm a member. The anthology is called Behind the Veil, and this is the Sundress. So welcome to my worlds. The day begins again. The morning light is playing across the light blue curtains that are rustling in the breeze. I chose those curtains because they remind me of the bluest sky on a summer's day. It didn't hurt that they match perfectly with the white panel walls of the bedroom. They're not thick enough to block out the sun in the morning or hold back the wind from an open window, which makes them perfect. I stretch out on my comfy bed that used to belong to my great-grandmother. Well, the frame belonged to her. The mattress was new and absolutely comfortable to cuddle on. The quilt that covers the bed was my grandmother's. She gave it to me on my 16th birthday. My mother is a big fan of antique farmhouse furniture. She loves to browse through the antique shop for hours. When I was younger, I used to go with her. She loved telling me all about the different pieces. I think she relished the moments of life that the items must have witnessed. As I look around my room, I see all those moments, both familial and my own. I can't help but think how my mother finds each one of them a treasure. She had hand-painted small flowers just under the shelf that circles my entire room. It's about a foot from the ceiling and holds all kinds of toys, books, and pictures from my life, starting from when I was a small child. I finally get myself out of bed after one last long, good stretch. I look around the room and I can't help but think about all the little things you look back on in life. I wonder how often people think they should pay more attention to them. There is a card, for instance, that sits on my dresser mirror. It is surrounded by the pictures of my friends, old and new. It was given to me in the 7th grade by Jason Masterson. He was the cutest boy in my class. The card is shaped like a pink candy heart with the words "Be Mine" on the front. Inside it read, "Will you be my Valentine?" And it's signed Jason. I remember that day being one of the most amazing days in my life to that point. It didn't work out with Jason and me. Most middle school relationships don't seem to last more than a few weeks. Though ours lasted until summer, when his parents sent him to camp in Florida. It was a long way from South Carolina. After a month of not talking, I think we both knew it was over. He had the prettiest blue eyes, like the sky in summertime. He went to a different school than mine, but we've run into each other a few times since then. He would always smile when he saw me, and we would hug like old friends. It always made me happy that we never promised to call each other. We knew we wouldn't follow through. I never told him that I still had the card. I put the card back on the dresser, pull off my pajama top and shorts, and place them at the foot of the bed before I head into the bathroom. I take a long shower. It's Saturday, and I'm not in a rush. It's nice when you're not under a tight deadline to be somewhere and can take time for you. As I stand under the heated water cascading down on me, I can't help but think and get a little excited about what the rest of the day will hold. I always feel this way when I picture seeing him. Patrick is one of the best things to ever happen to me. He's smart, funny, and best of all, he has a very cute dimple when he smiles. We met at a local county fair. I was playing the ball toss, the one with the goldfish bowls. I was terrible at it. But Patrick swooped in and was my goldfish hero and won me not only one, but three of the tiny fishes. Not that I had any idea what I would do with three goldfishes in very unnaturally colored water. He stood over just 6 feet tall, with dark wavy hair and brown eyes. He was wearing jeans, sneakers, and a light brown t-shirt with a pocket on the left side of his chest. It was a little tight. I could see he had a muscular build. His only demand when he presented me with the fishy prize was to know my name. My friends were giggling and teasing me the whole time. With flushed cheeks, I told him my name is Ronnie. It is Veronica, which of course he knows now. But I like being called Ronnie because my grandmother is also Veronica. Patrick smiled as he presented me with the fish and said, "I look forward to bumping into you again, Ronnie," before he turned and began to walk away. My friends and I turned to head in the opposite direction. I was a little disappointed that they only have the fish to remember the encounter. When he turned and shouted, "I work at the gas stop on Route 22, in case you were wondering where to bump into me." It took me about 3 weeks to bump into him again. I went to the gas stop 4 times, but he wasn't there until the last trip. He was behind the counter, and I was able to see him through the window before he saw me. He was helping a customer when I walked in. The door chimed as I entered, and he looked up. When he met my gaze, he smiled. "Took you long enough," he greeted, as he finished up with the customer and I approached the counter. We talked for a little while between customers, and he asked if he could take me out sometime. I, of course, tried to play it a little coy, but that only works when you don't drive to the outskirts of town to bump into someone. He took me out for a picnic that weekend. It was up near the lake shore, a perfect spot under the shade of a huge tree, with a perfect view. I remember it was a little chilly that day. I had dressed to look cute, not taking the weather into account. As the wind picked up, my teeth started to chatter, and I tried, unsuccessfully, to hide it. Patrick noticed, though, and took off his jacket, wrapping it around me. If I had read our date in a romance novel, I would have thought it would not have ever happened in real life. It was perfect. From that moment, I knew that Patrick had my heart. Turned out, Patrick was in school like me. His major was English literature, and he wanted one day to teach and inspire young writers. Sometimes we would just cuddle in the hammock in the backyard, and I would fall asleep in his arms, listening to him read me whatever novel he was in the middle of at the time. After the water starts to cool in the shower, I wrap myself in a fluffy towel and wipe away the steam from the mirror. It'd been over a year since our first date. My hair was longer now, and also lighter, almost white blonde in some places, from being outside so much. My skin had tanned a little, but I could see all the little freckles on my nose that Patrick loved, second only to my lips. The thought makes me smile a little bit. and I find my fingers instinctively touching my lips, gently remembering the last time we kissed. I head to my closet and pick out a dress that I had purchased last week. It's a light yellow sundress with little daisies around the hem. I almost didn't try it on because the flower seemed a little tacky, but my friend Beth had insisted. When I walked out of the dressing room with it on, Beth's mouth opened and she smiled. She didn't have to say anything. I knew this was the dress for today. As I put it on and strap on my sandals, I look at the clock on my nightstand. I only have a couple minutes before he arrives, and I start to feel butterflies in my stomach. All of my friends say the feeling fades over time. I hope they're wrong. I put on a necklace Patrick gave me for Valentine's Day. It's silver with 3 small heart pendants, and I clasp it around my neck. I hear the doorbell ring. I grab my sweater and head down the stairs. As I hit the last few steps, I see my mother greeted him at the door. She's telling him about the cobbler she's planning to make tomorrow night for dinner, which he is of course invited to. He thanks her just as his eyes meet mine. Butterflies. I reach the foyer and he tells me I look wonderful. He shudders slightly, and I know I chose the right dress. There's nothing like taking someone's breath away. He helps me with my sweater, and my mother tells us to have fun. He drives us to the spot where we had our first date. He lays out a blanket for us and sets out another wonderful meal. We eat and talk. The wind is rustling through the trees with a perfect breeze. We end up sitting close, looking out at the lake, his arm around me, and my head on his shoulder. I look at him and say, I want to come here every year with you, forever. He kisses me lightly and nods his head. Me too, he says. We hear the squealing of tires and a loud crack. As we turn, we see a pickup barreling towards us. I have no time to feel it as it hits me and I'm flying. I think I black out because the next moment I'm looking down from the picnic spot. Patrick is laying to my right. His neck is at a weird angle and not moving. I hear a scream. As I turn my head to peer down at the truck its front end is in the water. Just beneath the surface, I see the light yellow fabric with white daisies. The day begins again.